Alrighty, so this system tells me we are live, but my Facebook post page isn't telling me. So if you're here and I'm not, I'm heading your way. Let me just get myself over to where we're meant to be and see if I can find the live stream where you currently are. See if I can find the live stream where you. So I have found my way to where you are, and I want to welcome you to this very first tapping circle. It is here. Oh, let me just turn my volume down. It's always got a little bit of the trickies here. We're brand new on the live sort of platform where we got to connect Facebook into Zoom, so it's a little bit of a lag time. It's a bit disconcerting because there's like a 20-second lag, so a little bit cute to kind of organize that and sort of set the laptop up and make sure everything's working. So please bear with me on our very first session in this space. So when I say there's a lag, so I'm watching me on the video while I'm talking to you and trying to kind of keep it all connected. So fabulous. Thank you so much. I'm hearing comments already. Hello, Helen, Tracy, Kaz. Welcome to the Tapping Circle. So first up, let me introduce myself. I'm Lorna Hollinger and I run the Australian Tapping Institute. It is based here in Australia, but we do serve global markets. Our flagship program is we train EFT practitioners. So we don't just focus on EFT, we do EFT and life coaching as a dual certification program. So if EFT training is in your bucket list, maybe you want to head over after the call and have a look at what we do. Or by all means, please feel free to put the comments here. I've realized because comments, I will need my glasses. So welcome. So that's who I am. So I have been doing EFT for, I think there's probably about 5 years I've actually been doing tapping. Prior to doing tapping, I already had a very thriving life coaching NLP practice anyway. I thought tapping was a little bit, I'm going to say it, a little bit woohoo, a little bit out there for me. I'm a very science-based girl. I'm very much sort of research and evidence-based. So when a girlfriend sort of threw this tapping thing in there, I'm thinking, I don't know. But what happened was she actually was, she came to me, she was my coach, so I was the client for a change. When I experienced tapping, when I actually got into it and allowed myself to experience it and not control it, to not overthink it, which is what many of us do, I was absolutely hooked. Now, if you're like me and you've done the YouTube videos, you're tapping on the YouTube videos, but you're trying to think and you're trying to feel, and am I getting it right? I want you, while you're working with me, particularly in this hour, to experience it by feeling it. Let go of all the preconceived ideas. Let go of what's going on. Let go of what I'm saying. Let go of all of that. And when we do the tapping sequences in this session, feel into it, allow it, and don't think about it. Just be here with me to do the tapping, because I know from my experience, that's where you'll get the biggest benefit, because you'll be. It's the only way I can explain it really is you'll be. So just don't overthink it. And man, I've got some fabulous people from America here. Fantastic. Great to have you here. You guys might watch it more than the Aussies because it's Monday morning here, 9:30 on a Monday morning. We're going to be live. So, a whole bunch of people are going to be at work here in Australia, but it's all on here and it's going to stay here. And, it's here to watch later on. So if you're here with the lives, thank you for joining me. If you're here watching it as a recording, fantastic to have you here as well. So what I also ask is, I want you to have a pen and paper or your journal with you when we go through this, just to be able to write down some little words. Maybe there were some little triggers for you. Maybe something might pop up in the session. And I'd love for you to just be able to write it down while you're here and not worry about, later on, I kind of got to go and find a bit of paper or whatever. Just do it while you're here. So pen and paper, journal, whatever you like to write on. So through my little techie thing, I'm going to pop back to Zoom because I've got a little quick video that I use in my school that is going to demonstrate all the tapping points. So rather than me sitting here, It's a little bit better of a visual, and I'm just going to walk you through that quickly. So if I disappear for half a second, stay with me. I'll try not to pull any funny faces, and I'll go share my screen with you. So you should be able to see this. Let's do it full screen. Let's do it from the beginning. She should work from the beginning. It's not going to do it for me today. That's a little bit of annoying, considering I had this all set up beforehand. So we can change points, but let's do it from the beginning. She's not going to want to do that for us. So that's okay. We'll just work with what's on the screen. You know, we're improvising people. We will just work it out as we go. So you'll notice the very first one is the karate chop point. It's up here on your karate chop. It is the squeaky soft stuff that sits on your skin on the side of your hand. We are equal. It doesn't matter which one you use. This is your karate chop point, because these are the words we'll use when we're doing the tapping. All right, so the next slide we've got, I'll make it go. I can't believe what I'm not going to allow me to play this. They said I had it playing yesterday. Anyway, so the next one is all the tapping points. So you'll see there's one on the top of the head, right up on the fontanelle where the baby's crowning is. The other ones are the eyebrows. I'll take my glasses off. In here. So actually, no, what I'll do, I'll just show you this quickly. So see it there, eyebrows, side of eyes. Just remember the other slides are going to be so much better. Eyebrows, side of eyes, under the eyes, collarbone here, the squeaky bit in here, collarbone, under nose, under the lip, which is the chin. Let me do it better and let's go into these bits here. And I'll explain it better here. Again, one with these eyebrows. So it is just where the hair meets. It's in here. Now we are tapping on meridians of your body. So the meridians are, there are energy circuitry in your body. So it doesn't matter if you're not quite on the right spot. Yours might be slightly off. Don't worry about it. Feel into what it is. That one's the eyebrow. Then we've got the side of the eye. Up here on the side, not up on the temple, not down low, not too close to the eye, on the side just here. And then the next one we're going to look at is under the eye. So actually under the eye, I see it more as on the bone of the eye. Not too close, not too low, but kind of around that bony kind of area. That's going to be under your eye. And again, you're equal, doesn't matter which side. We're then going to do under the nose. Now under the nose, if you've got nails, be careful of your own nose. You don't want to take your nose off. Here, on the flat lip here, not the lip, but the flat skin. Then for those of you who are experts here, you guys know this stuff anyway. The chin, it's called the chin, but it's here on the crease. Right on the crease, it's on the crease. Now the collarbone, we get to the collarbone. Now it is my favorite. It is here. It is the squeaky bit. Do I need to put my little camera down a little bit more? It's here. It's not on the actual bones. It's in the soft skin in here. Now, this is my go-to, and I'll explain more why it's my go-to as we go through the session, but that is our collarbone. Same again, equal, even. Under the arm. Now, under the arm is where a couple of inches down from the armpit, it's kind of where our bra stops for girls, if it's girls kind of watching, it's in there. In Australia, I don't tend to use the underarm very often, mainly because I started my practice with big busted women and it was sweaty. It gets sweaty in Sydney, like it's sort of a bit uncomfortable. So if you see me miss the underarm, don't worry, I haven't forgotten it. It's a choice that we don't tend to use it. Back to the top of the head, it's right on the top of the head, right on the top of the head. So these are the points and you'll see that we actually use them. So bringing it together, we're going to tap on karate chop. And then when we go from eyebrow, right the way around, notice it's a question mark. There's a question mark around your face if you forget the points, to collarbone, top of the head. There, that's considered a round. So if you hear someone do a round of tapping, it's from eyebrow right the way around till you get back to the top of the head. Now, if you want some of the abbreviations, here are the abbreviations that we use. This is what you'll see if you're looking at scripts, if you're hearing people talk about stuff, if you're looking at stuff, you'll start to see all of these points written out. So let me stop sharing this and let me come back to you. Oops, where's my Facebook page? Back to you on the Facebook page. So that will disappear in a few seconds and you'll get me back, because as I said to you, it is it is on a delay. Oh, hello, Ramona. My gorgeous Ramona is here. Ramona got me into coaching, I don't know, a decade ago. She was my first person I met when I joined my coaching college. So lovely to have you here, Ramona. So once again, this session is for you. This clearly, I know the topic. I can give you and deliver for you whatever you need. I'd love for this session on a Monday morning or Sunday night, wherever you're watching from, to be about you. I'm happy if you guys want to email me in some information or email me some topics or post them here. I'm happy to make this about whatever you want it to be about, because this is for you. This is for me to spread the word of EFT, but for you guys to experience it, to love it, to embrace it, and to really enjoy it. So let's start off, now that we've walked through the points, on actually doing some tapping together. So I love when we come to session to do some grounding, to get us into the space. So the plan is, and if for those of you who are new to tapping, all you do is repeat after me. As I said, don't think about it, just be on the karate chop point. Even though, so we start off with this, and my language is specific, even though I have no idea what this session is going to be about, I am going to choose to love and accept who I am. Even though I have no idea what will come up in this session, I'm going to choose to love and accept who I am. Even though I have no idea what will come up in this session, and I'm going to trust what comes up in this session. And I'm going to choose to love and accept who I am. And you'll notice we do that 3 times on the karate chop point. And we say some affirming statements. We do even though, and we name what our problem and our issue is, because the idea being we're going to acknowledge that those thoughts and feelings are there anyway, so we can process them. So then we've done the karate chop. We're going to move through the points. Now I'm going to say I'm not great at remembering to go move to the next point, move to the next point. So just when it sounds like a very natural move to the next point, which will be at the end of the sentence, just move to that next point. So we'll start here on the eyebrow. I'm feeling grounded and centered. I'm feeling very grounded and centered in the room. You notice we tap 5 or 6 times on each point. Very grounded and centered right now. I'm going to leave all distractions behind. I'm going to leave all distractions away from here. This is my time. I'm going to have my time. This session is for me. This time right now is for me. I'm going to feel into my body. I'm going to feel into this space. I'm going to allow things to come up. I'm going to trust without question. I'm going to feel into me. I'm grounded in this room. I'm grounded in my space. I'm grounded in this room. I'm grounded in this space. I'm grounded in this room, in this space, in my body, in this space, right now. I'd love for you to take a big, deep breath and start to feel the energy moving. Now, when I work with students to start with, and we start to explain what it is, and when I used to work with clients, I feel this and I explain this as I get to feel the blood starting to move in my veins. It's the only really accurate way I've been able to explain it that made sense to people. So if you start to feel the energy, that's what you're going to want to start to feel. Start to feel movement in your body, start to feel shift. To start with, it could be really subtle, but when you've been tapping a long time like I have, the shift starts quickly, the movement starts quickly, and it's very, very noticeable because you start to get to understand and know your body. So that's just some really, really quick grounding tapping. You'll see it takes just a couple of minutes to feel really great. Now, the way we can do, so let me quick into here. People are going to be asking, so how can I do tapping in a group and it still works for me? In tapping, it's known as borrowing benefits. We are always going to be doing what we call borrowing benefits in this session together, in this sort of group work. What will happen is, while I'm talking with you and saying certain words, your brain will maybe be thinking of different words or triggering different words, particularly when sort of the more structured tapping I'm going to take you through. Trust that. Trust that your brain will be able to pick up whatever words I'm saying and whatever we're doing. It may not apply to you exactly 100% the exact word, but knowing this group work, it actually will be doing the work. So still continue to trust, even though it may be, oh, this isn't for me or doesn't feel like me at the moment. Trust yourself that it does. So what are these sessions going to be about? What are we going to do? So I kind of looked at it a bit like a 4-week cycle, and I'm more than happy for your feedback if this isn't how the way you guys want it all to run or what you kind of would like out of this. As I said, it is for you. I thought that we would have two, out of say a 4-week cycle, we would have pretty much the 2 weeks would be primarily tapping. I will pick a theme or a theme that one of you gives to me. We'll pick a theme and we'll delve deep into that theme. It may be something to do with pain. It may be something to do with, like today I've picked abundance. It may be money. It may be something more specific. It may be relationships. We'll pick a theme, and for 2 of the segments, we'll do it very much based on that theme. Another one of the weeks, I would love to do more of a Q&A. So I'd love you to bring lots of questions along. And it may be that we end up taking somebody out of the group and we really delve into that topic that's quite specific for them. Through the love of borrowing benefits, it may not be exactly your issue, but your subconscious is going to go and find where it is very similar to that for you, and it will start to do the work with you there as well. I'd also love to bring in some guests as well. EFT has been getting such great traction around the world. I mean, it's been popular for probably the last 3 decades that I know of. And because I run a school and I train life coaches and practitioners of EFT, we get a whole bunch of students that are just going off and doing really, really different things with EFT. And I'd love to highlight some of that for you so that you know that what you look at on YouTube or what you do with your own tapping isn't just the only thing that you can do. It may give you some more insight as to where you can take your own tapping, where you can do some of your own work. So part of my work there is going to be on bringing some guests in for you that are specializing in tapping in some really, really different sort of areas to really highlight it. And good morning from everyone who's sending me in. Oh, I've got my gorgeous Janelle. She's one of our alumni from ATI. So welcome there, and welcome from everyone. Looks like people all over the world. Do you have any idea how exciting that is? Like, that's just really, really exciting to see all of your happy little faces to come up. Thank you, everybody. God, I could rattle off for hours. I've got people from all over the world, and I am just so ever so grateful you guys are here, because you are the ones that make it. You're the other ones that make this happen, because I am here for you. So moving along, as said, well, one thing I didn't mention. If you want to ask me a question, I'd love to answer questions, but I ask that you put a capital Q in the question box first. Now, what that does is, as you guys see, lots of comments and responses and good mornings and hellos all come up, and they're fabulous, fabulous to have them. However, if you don't put a Q, sometimes the question can be missed. So just put a Q in there. I've got some questions, things like coming up like, am I doing readings? EFT and tapping isn't about doing readings, so it's not about the psychic work that I do here. This is purely about doing EFT and doing tapping with you. So taking you through some tapping routines, ones that you do in session here with me on this call, and ones that you'll be able to take away when we move out of session, so between sessions, because You know, we all kind of get triggered. We all have things that happen, things that get said, things that bother us. EFT tapping is your go-to tool for everything. So while I'm thinking go-to tool, this little spot in here, this little spot that is our collarbone spot. Now, it is my go-to spot for everything. Many of reasons. One, I can tuck it under my scarf. I can pop my hand in my shirt. I can do it flat-handed on public transport. I can do it while I'm sitting near someone who is triggering me. Say you're at the office and someone's bothering you. You can do it anywhere, flat-handed, right? Flat-handed, easy to be done. All right. So what I say is, with all of my clients I work with, everybody who leaves my studio, everyone who comes, tap here on anything that triggers you. 3 simple words. I am safe. Primarily anything that triggers you, that somebody says, somebody does, you get a fright, you get bothered, etc., is because it's tapping onto some fear that's just been triggering you. Your fight or flight is triggered. That means there's a trigger in there. If you tap here, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe, or I am fine. They're my other ones. So I'm sure I'm just reading comments as they come through. So I am fine is another one. So whatever words work for you. I am fine, or I am safe, or I am okay. So my little niece is 10 in primary school here in Australia. I get her to tap when things go on in the playground. If things are said, she gets a bit upset. She just takes herself off to the bathroom or does a little walk around, tapping here. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. So just take that. Take that as your, if you take nothing else from today, here, I am safe. If you have another favorite tapping spot, perfect. I just find doing this in public can draw a little bit of attention to myself. And if I've already been triggered and I'm not feeling comfortable, safe, kind of okay right now, drawing attention to myself probably isn't something I want to do. So please take this as your go-to space. So we have some questions coming in. So lovely Ramona, does it matter which side of your body? The answer is no. So what we're doing is we are activating the meridians. I've got some great videos I can share with you at some time of the meridians in the body. You can find them on YouTube. They're electrical circuitry that runs through your body. They are even. You are the same on each side. Now, while your spot may not be exactly the same on your side, it won't be far off. Tapping with your fingertips, a couple of them, you're bound to get them. Now, we have meridians down the front, we have them down the back, we have them through hands, we have them through all sorts of circuitry. So some people are going to want to tap on both sides. Some people are going to want on one side. Some people are going to have a preference to which side. It doesn't matter. Just allow what comes up. Don't overthink. Don't go, Lorna does it right-handed. I need to right hand, when left works for you. Tap whichever hand. Tap on whatever side. Now, there are tops and bottoms to meridians. We could tap on the bottom part of our body at the end of the meridian. We do it at the top. We do it on the top part of our torso. Now, if you miss a spot while we're tapping, that doesn't matter either, because while each of the meridian points are attached to sort of internal organs and specific parts of our body, the fact that we do this all-round holistic things means we are capturing so many different parts of our body that it's okay if you miss one. If you came on later, I said, I very, very rarely do I ever tap on my underarm. Partly, I work with big buster women. I am a big buster woman. In Sydney, it gets quite hot and sticky, and to be working with clients and having them lift their arm, it just got really yucky and messy. So don't worry if you miss a spot, or you think you're not doing it wrong, or you're in the moment with tapping here in this session and you think, oh, Lorna's on a different point to me. It doesn't matter. Remember, we're not going to think in this session. We are going to feel. So thanks, great for your session. Debbie, yes, let's get back to questions that are very specific. Debbie's very much got a specific one about a specific issue about abandonment in adult children. So we'll come back to that, Debbie. I just want to take us and get us introduced to some very specific tapping. I picked abundance today because I really want to, and I'm just going to go through and make sure there's other questions. Tapping for stress, Michelle. Yes, part of this is we are very much going to be tapping on stress. Now, what happens if you're blocked from? Okay, Lisa, you're going to ask me a better question. You're going to scope that out for a little bit more. Let's do some tapping on something that's a very generic, general sort of topic on abundance to get you into the groove, to get you into it. Then we can start to do, because some of the topics are very specific, so they will take 15, 20 minutes to get into there. In this very first session, I want you to get into tapping and to be really get a good feel of how we're going to make this play out with us all and what we're going to do from it. So we're going to do something, we'll just start with here. And while I'm looking down at my book, I don't actually have a script here. So this is just kind of, as with me, it's pretty much all on the fly. I trust what comes into my head and I trust what comes through. So even though I want more abundance in my life, I'm going to choose to love and accept myself. Even though I'm always looking for more abundance, I'm going to choose to love and accept who I am today. I look for more abundance in my life, and I don't know where it's coming from sometimes. I feel like I got lost, or it missed me out. But I'm going to choose to love and accept who I am. I am going to choose to be in the moment and to feel into this. Sometimes I feel that I lack abundance. Sometimes I get stressed about what I don't have. Sometimes I get all worked up and I get a bit worried that things aren't what they should be. I worry I lack abundance. That might not be the words I use, but it feels like I'm missing out sometimes. Feels like I don't have everything I want. I find myself comparing myself to other people. I compare myself to what they have. I compare myself to what they've got. Compare myself to what they're doing. I feel I don't have enough abundance. I feel like it's missing. I feel like parts of it's missing for me. Feels like sometimes I missed out. Feels like I missed out. So I'm hoping you're starting to feel this move. We're going to continue into this frame of abundance. I want you to recognize what came up for you. For some of you, there could be some other words come up. Remember, I said at the beginning to have a bit of either pen and paper or a journal. Write down any words that came up while we were doing that. They're things that you can go back to later. But when we think of when we think of tapping and we're heading into this abundance word, notice we were focusing on the negatives. Notice we were focusing on things that aren't what we want them to be. And that is what we do with tapping. We focus on what the negative feelings are, the negative emotions are. With so many other therapies, we skim over the top of them. With tapping, we go in and we actually acknowledge them. The thoughts and the fears and the dramas and the worries and the things that trigger in your brain are all tagged memories from somewhere. We want to start to pull that apart a little bit. Imagine just like a bit of a spider's web. If we start to pull the right threads of a spider's web, it all starts to collapse. So we want to do that to sort of all these sort of tagged memories in your head that bring up your fears and your worries about this lack of abundance. Because generally we don't fear something in the moment. We will generally fear something that's in the future. We will also fear something that's in the past. Our future fears are based on the past because that's where the memories are all tagged. So if we're fearing something from our past, it's the tagged stuff. Fearing the future is also tagged from the past because that's what's triggering you to think, to be worried the future may or may not work out the way I want it to be because I've got this stuff in the past. That's what we're going to do with tapping. So we don't necessarily fear things right in this moment. So let's continue with the abundance stuff. So I want us to go through and I want you to define what abundance means for you. I'm not sure what abundance means for me. Just follow through on the tabs with me. I'm not sure what abundance means. It means so many things to so many people. But what does it mean for me? What exactly do I think I'm missing? What exactly do I think I'm missing? Is it money? Do I think I'm missing money? Do I think that I'm missing love? Do I think I'm missing things from my children? Am I concerned about my possessions? Is my business not bringing in the profits that I wanted? Is my career not where I expected it to be by now? I have all these worries. Abundance is such a big word. What does it mean for me? What does abundance mean for me? What is abundance? What does that word even mean? How can I get more of it though? What do I need to do? I fear I lack abundance. I worry that I've lacked abundance. I worry that it's not here for me. I worry about all sorts of things. My lack of abundance, my lack of abundance, my lack of abundance. Now, if you will notice your body starting to move and starting to shift. Now, we've got some questions coming in. Let me just ping on. So, Maz, I feel a bit shaky. Is that normal? So just imagine, Maz, and for everyone else, when we talk about tapping, we do some tapping. Imagine you're in a snow globe. So, I think we get them around the world. It's sort of flat and it's a dome or a circle. It's got glass and it's usually got sparkly glitter inside of it. I think of tapping as an element of snow globing. So I talk to my clients about that. When we start to play in our energy circuitry, when we start to do tapping and all sorts of other modalities, I imagine it like we are shaking up a snow globe. Now, the snow globe will take time and it will all settle back down, but in the moment, we're giving it a bit of a shake-up. Tapping to me does the same thing. It goes along with my explanation that I feel like the blood's moving in my veins. That's how I describe it. So to feel shaky when you're doing some tapping, please sit down if that is the case. Make sure you are safe if that's the case. So yes, so feeling a level of shaky. I do feel like my energy circuitry is moving. I have a lot of time where yawning is very prevalent in tapping. So if you're feeling you're starting to yawn, that is very, very normal. Starting to feel a bit irritable and a little bit, I don't kind of want to be here and I don't really want to be doing this and I don't want to be sort of feeling all this. They are all very normal indicators that tapping's working and that your energy circuitry is starting to be shaken up. Now, it can take a long time for it to settle back down, i.e. a day or two. It shouldn't take a week. It should only take a day or two. And yours may not shake up very much at all. So just know that those sort of physical symptoms are very, very normal when you're new to tapping. What I'm going to ask you is to feel into your body and to feel that and allow that and not get panicked by it. Just, yep, this is how my body's doing this and this is okay. So we've done through sort of very briefly sort of what is abundance and that abundance is there. And you'll notice that they were all reasonably negative statements. You're feeling these emotions anyway. The thoughts are there anyway. So let's acknowledge them. Okay. So we're going to continue on and we're going to do a little bit more tapping. I acknowledge my thoughts and feelings. I know some of this stuff that goes through my head doesn't make sense to my logical brain. Some of it doesn't make sense And I really try hard to stop myself. I stop myself from having these thoughts. And I tell myself I'm silly. Or I call myself stupid. Or I say other mean things to myself. But that doesn't seem to help me get out of it. I worry about things. I get stressed about things. Sometimes I even overthink things. Yep, I overthink things. I overthink problems. I overthink concerns. But I can't seem to stop it. They rattle in my head. And they go around and around. Now, I am hoping that at this point in time, you've got some words written down. If some of this didn't quite hit the mark of the exact words for you, your brain will have popped up the right words. Remember, this is group work, so it is that little bit global. It is a little bit more rounded out, so we capture lots of words from lots of people. If you work with a practitioner, we teach it in our school, the words and the language that comes through are yours. Your practitioner talks to you about the what, where, why, and when that's coming up in your head. So a personal session, private session with a practitioner will feel very different to this sort of group work that we're going to do together, 9:30 on a Monday morning here in Sydney. I have no idea what time it is around the world. So let me see what other things I wrote down, because I wrote all this out last night while I was sitting in bed of what I'm going to teach you guys, what I'm going to talk you through. Where are we up to? Now, we've got questions. We do have some questions. Yep, we've answered some. Cindy, I'm not quite sure. Hi for writing a question, but I'm not quite sure what your question is. You might need to just review that for me. Lisa, what happens if I'm blocked from a feeling? So, Lisa, if you're blocked from a feeling, it will be a number of couple of things, and it will probably be from a trauma that's around it. So let me take you into a different part of tapping wall. When we work with our practitioners, we train them in a system called tabletops. So if you can imagine you've got a tabletop. So someone wrote earlier in the page, can we do some tapping on stress? So stress, imagine, is a tabletop. So tabletop, it's the thing you can language, it's the thing you can say. But what we actually want to do when we do tapping is we want to work out what the table legs are. We want to know what's holding up those table legs. So, Lisa, when you talk about being blocked from a feeling, it will generally be one of those table legs is a trauma or an event or something that's happened that you don't really want to feel into, because the events, what happened in that event and the outcome from the event and the meaning you gave that event is probably a little bit too scary. Your brain's packed it away quite safely to get away from it, which is generally what will happen when we've had some sort of mental trauma in our life. Our brain very cleverly packs that away for us, because to get on in our everyday life, having those emotions that trigger us hanging around doesn't feel good, and it stops us from functioning as easily as we would like to. So it's quite normal when you start to get a feeling that is blocked, but just know it's attached to something else. As I said, the example is the tabletop is the stress. We want to talk and work out what's happening in the table legs. So when we do very global tapping in this space where we talk about we're going to do some group work and borrowing benefits, sometimes that's why we can't get really in-depth into a specific feeling, because it's attached to different table legs for different people. So I'll continue to unpack out these theories and these concepts of table legs in different sessions as we go along, but that's really the basics of now. Tabletop is what you can language and tell me your problem is. Your table legs is what's holding on to the reasons why you can't express that feeling at this point in time, Lisa. So, yep, Cindy, if you can just rewrite your question for me, my lovely, so I know exactly what it is. Let me just scroll back to see what we have. Debbie says, I'm going to ask you, please, if you're still on the call, if you can just send me through a little private message. So Lorna Hollinger is my full name. If you want to send me a little private message, that is something that, yes, we can bring into here and we can get to do some work on. But I said, it's a very distinct table leg, and we want to be able to deal with that properly for you because there's a whole lot of traumas and triggers attached to that. So to just do some really quick, just tap on that isn't going to be enough. But right now, Debbie, if when you are triggered by that and you have things that happen with your children, do my go-to. I am safe, or I am fine, or I am okay. In the moment will help to reduce the trauma and the anxiety of that particular thought when it comes up in the moment. So just remember, I am safe, I am fine, or I am okay. Not all three. Pick your favorite. Mine is I am safe. And just tap there. That's a really good go-to when you've got stuff that's very specific like that. All righty, so we don't have any specific questions. No specific questions that are coming up. Fabulous, you guys are getting this. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. I said, remember, keep the questions coming. Just stick a capital Q there so I notice them. What I'll do is after the call, I'll go through the questions as well. And if they're easy enough for me to write a really quick answer to it as well, I'll do that so you don't have to wait for next week. So we've got kind of about, 15-ish minutes left. Continue to ask your questions, but we're going to head into some of the more positive aspects of tapping. So we're tapping, imagine a vacuum. So what we've done is, actually, if you don't mind, I'm just going to take a wee sip of my tea. I have no problems talking for an hour. I do have problems talking for an hour without any sort of liquids to bring it back in. So what we've done is we have done some tapping on the negatives. So we clear out the negatives. We go and look at the thoughts and the feelings you're already experiencing anyway. We acknowledge them. I have these thoughts. But I said, remember about the vacuum, okay? Once we clear out the negative stuff, we want to fill it back in with some positive stuff. We like, not that the vacuum's overly important, but it's a good representation of you. You're working on your negative and you're going to get rid of that, but let's bring in some positive stuff. Let's bring in some positive into your life. I have a saying I have with all of my practitioner students is, your reality, you make it up. Every thought you have of going into your, of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, all those thoughts and things that run through your head, we make them up. I know that's a really hard concept to get because you didn't come into the world thinking those thoughts. So when we have a whole lot of negative dialogue and negative chatter and all that sort of stuff, that sort of chatter needs to be acknowledged. We need to keep it as a real, and we want to clear it. But once we clear all the negative stuff, we don't then want to go into leaving a void of what else we're going to think of. So what we're going to help to do is we're going to rewire those thoughts. So our first part is we went through a space of clearing out the negative emotions. We talked about abundance. We acknowledge that we have thoughts of abundance. We acknowledge that we compare ourselves to others. So we're now going to go and do some tapping on how to fill that in. All righty? So back through the points, and we're just going to continue. And notice we don't get back to the karate chop point. It's not necessary. It's just is when we very first start tapping. So if you do tapping at home and you don't worry about your karate chop and you forget it, don't get stressed. You haven't done it wrong. But we're just going to go straight back to the other points. This comparison that I do. I compare myself to others all the time. I'm not even sure why I do it. There's a little voice in my head sometimes. And it's a little voice of judgment. Because when I don't think I have enough, it's really based on comparing myself to somebody else. It's based on comparing. That little voice of judgment of mine. I let that little voice have way too much airtime. That little voice says way too much. That little voice. I listen to that little voice of judgment. I compare myself to others. I compare myself to society. I can compare myself to people in my social group, people in my family, my business or my career, is constant comparing. Constant comparing. But you know, there's another little voice in my head, and I don't give it enough airtime. I don't give it anywhere near enough airtime. There is another little voice. There is a voice that's very, very quiet. And that little voice says, you actually can do this. The other little voice, it says you can do this. It doesn't compare. It appreciates me for who I am. I think this other little voice actually likes me. I think this little voice likes me. But it's so quiet. Maybe it's time to turn the other voice up. Maybe it's time to turn that voice up. Maybe that positive voice in my head. Maybe I could turn the volume up on it. The negative voice is only loud because I listen to it. What if I turn the volume up on my positive voice? What if I turn the volume up? Might not be easy to start with. What if I started today? What if I gave that positive voice 5 minutes of airtime? Wonder if I could spend 5 minutes after this call. I could set my timer and I could run a positive dialogue. I could spend 5 minutes saying positive things about myself. 5 minutes saying some great things about myself. I could say things that I don't really believe. I could say that I am amazing. I could say that I am wonderful. I could say that I'm a good person. I could say that I'm a good mum or dad. I could say that I'm a good brother or sister. I could say I'm a good son or daughter. I could say that I'm great at dancing, or great at sport, or great at cooking. Add in your own. What are you great at? What are you great at? Let's do the next round, and I want you to say out loud what you're good at. Let's get in the groove here. I can throw words, but I want you to throw words. They can be different from mine. I'm just going to keep going. I am an amazing person. I'm a great mum. I am a fabulous dad. I'm a really dedicated employee. I'm a good boss. I'm really good at my sport. I really enjoy, what do you like doing for other people? Add in there. I'm really good at doing such and such for other people. Add it in. I really like this about me. I like, what do you like? Do you like your hair? Do you like your nose? Do you like the way you walk? Do you like your laugh? Do you like your eyes? Something, say something. I like this about me. I am really good at doing this. What is it for you? Is it cooking? Is it cleaning? Is it running your business? Is it taking your kids somewhere? Is it being a good child, a mum or a dad, or a child to one of your parents? I'm saying on the screen, I'm good at singing. Michelle, great. I'm great at singing. So shape it up, Michelle. I'm not good at singing. I am great at singing. Helen is, I am a great listener. Fabulous. I am a great listener. Keep them coming in. What else are you great at? And you're going to be inclined to put the word good, but don't change it. Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes out of your day is all you're going to do. 5 minutes tapping. When you finish this, 5 minutes of the dialogue in your head, even without tapping. I'm good. I'm great. I'm fabulous. I'm a great listener. I'm a great son or daughter. Great work. A great what? And keep it going. Keep the words coming. Keep the words coming. Keep them coming because you are great. You are amazing. And you are. So stop tapping. Helen's great to be around. Fabulous. Great to be around. Helen, great person. Fantastic. This is what I want you to do. This is the experience I want you to have. Tapping, we do this. We get rid of the negative and then we start to put in some positive. And I've got to be betting every one of you who's done the tapping in this call is feeling the difference in your body. You're feeling things moving and things shifting. Even if you're not sure what that is, you'll get to start to feel that even more in your body the more tapping that you do. So that's what I'm going to set for home play for everybody who leaves this call. Put a 5-minute timer on when you finish and just rattle through all the great things about you. Even if it's only a little thing and you think, oh, I'm kind of okay at that. 5 minutes, change the language. I'm great at that. I'm great at that. I'm great at that. I'm great at that. Because as I said, you make up the negative voice anyway. You didn't come into the world as this with the negative voice. We tuned it. We practiced it. We live it. We've got to reprogram our brain. Stop making up the crappy stuff. Stop making up the horrible stuff. Stop making up the negative voice because you made it up. So if you're feeding your brain that rubbish, feed it good rubbish until it sticks. That's part of what tapping is going to do. So I really hope you're enjoying this. Please continue with the questions. We've probably got about another 5 minutes together. I'm going to be here every Monday. Well, it's Monday in Sydney time, so it's 9:30 Sydney time, Monday morning. So you guys get to work out wherever in the world it is for you. I just know it's sort of middle of the night probably in America, and yeah, it's actually probably middle of the night in Britain as well. Who knows? All over the place. So remember, you can send me a private message or you can comment in this video later on. I will go back and I will look and see what other topics people want. I just chose abundance as an introduction. We can take these sessions pretty much anywhere. Only one session a month will I probably take and bring one person in and delve into their topic. So it kind of looks like a little bit of a coaching session to show you how we go from tabletop, which is, remember, the thing you can tell me about, into your table legs to dissect what's in there. Now, if you want to connect with me, I'm over on the Australian Tapping Institute's Facebook page. We have a website, obviously, australiantappinginstitute.com.au. Our practitioner training is global. It's 100% online, so you can then enroll from anywhere in the world if practitioner training is something that you're interested in. We've got some brochures and we have some information on there that you can pick up if that was something you wanted to do. We are here, as said, every week at 10:30. What else have I written up here? No, we're going to do some other stuff. Your topics, the session is for you. Now, I want to finish off with some grounding tapping before we go anywhere. I want us to ground back into our own bodies so we can kind of release and go back out into the world. Please continue to send me through any questions that you have. I've got some free courses if other people are wanting to do some free courses. If you head to the website, the australiantappinginstitute.com.au, you will see there is a link to Remembering Home Study Programs. Click on there and go and get some free courses that we offer. One of them is very, very tapping focused. It's the Self-Love Project. The other one is the Your Life by Design. My theory is unless you're designing your life, you're going to spend a lot of hours being in part of someone else's dreams of what they want for their life. So some new skills to learn in my coaching space on how you can actually start to change your thoughts and change how you show up in the world. So without questions coming through, let's do some final grounding tapping, okay? We're going to go back to the karate chop just for this one. You don't usually have to, but I'm going to. Even though I had no idea what was going to show up, I trusted myself. Even though I came into this session not knowing what was going to come up, I really did trust myself. That even though I had no idea what was coming up, I trusted myself and I flowed with the session and I just allowed myself to be. I feel grounded in my body. I feel centered in my thoughts. I feel myself in my own body. I feel calm. I feel centered to the earth. I'm feeling a sense of calm. I can feel my body different. This calm in my body. This calm that I have created. I can create them at other times. I can do this again. I can spend 5 minutes with myself again and just grounding myself. Grounding into the earth. Grounding into my body. Owning my body. All its ticks and twinges. Everything it does. Grounding into my body. I feel grounded. I feel centered. Okay, so we can stop tapping down. I'm sure you're all feeling this in your body, this movement, this shift. It has been an absolute pleasure being here with you on our very, very first tapping circle. I do some work, other work on my own private page, but to be here for the Spiritual Events Directory and to be part of Sarah Watkins' team here has just been fabulous for me. I certainly am here to serve you. Anything you want to know in the space of EFT, anything you want to know from tapping, tap it, put it in the bottom of this video. I'll come and look a little later. Send me a private message, pop me an email. It doesn't matter. Topics, more than happy to hear topics that you want to have covered off. As I said, this session is about you and for you. And as I said, it's been lovely to be here with you. We will see you at the same time next Monday, 9:30. And I want to send you lots of love for a fabulous, fabulous week. Remember your go-to spot. If you are triggered about anything, I am safe, or I am fine, or I am okay. Take those three, make any one of them will work for you. Remember, 5 minutes when you get off the call, set your timer on your phone or whatever device you've got, and just play the voice that's positive. No negative thoughts, no negative things. Just run through a list of the things that you think you're okay at or good at. Turn the word to great. Spend 5 minutes. I will see you on the next call. As said again, much love. It's fabulous to have you here. Fabulous to have some of my graduates and alumni here, people I know and people I am yet to meet. So I will see you again next week on the call.